The morning sunlight filtered weakly through the heavy drapes of Zufishan's grand yet stifling room. Despite the golden light, the warmth felt intangible, as if the mansion's oppressive weight smothered every flicker of joy. She sat by the tall window, her slender fingers clutching a delicate locket that held a small, faded photo of Azar. It was her only tangible connection to him, the love they once shared, and the dreams that now felt impossibly distant. The mansion, with its gilded walls and ornate furniture, was no longer just a place, it was a cage. Every ornate detail, every crystal chandelier and plush rug, only reminded her of the freedom she had lost. And yet, within her despair, Azar's message burned like a beacon of hope. She carefully unfolded the small note again, her breath catching as she read his hastily scrawled words. I have the documents. The authorities are starting their investigation. But the danger has grown. Alam Shah suspects something. Be careful, my love. Wait for my signal. I will come for you. Zufishan's fingers trembled as she folded the note and tucked it into the hidden compartment of her jewelry box. A tear slipped down her cheek, but she quickly wiped it away. Azar was alive, fighting not only for himself but for her, too. The thought gave her strength, but it also filled her with torment. Alam Shah's presence loomed over her like a storm, and each day in this mansion felt like an endless battle. How much longer could she keep up this charade? In another part of the mansion, Alam Shah's study was a whirlwind of anger and suspicion. The heavy oak desk bore the brunt of his wrath as his fist slammed against it, rattling the papers strewn across its surface. His trusted lieutenant stood before him, his posture rigid but his face betraying unease. Sahib, the man began cautiously. The guards found traces of someone in the gardens last night. We believe the intruder may have made contact with your wife. Alam Shah's expression darkened, his eyes narrowing with a mixture of fury and fear. You fools, he roared, pacing the room like a caged animal. You let him slip through your fingers again. The lieutenant swallowed nervously, hesitating before delivering more bad news. Sahib, there is more. Word has reached us that the police are investigating your dealings. Someone is feeding them information. For a moment, Alam Shah froze, his mind racing. His thoughts turned to Zufishan, and his jaw tightened. Her recent behavior, her quiet defiance, was it possible that she was the one betraying him? Could Azar have reached her? Double the guards, he barked, his voice like a whip. No one leaves this mansion without my knowledge. And keep a close watch on Zufishan. She thinks she's clever, but I will catch her. That evening Zufishan slipped away to the garden, cloaking her actions in the guise of needing fresh air. The cool night breeze kissed her cheeks, but it did little to calm her racing heart. She moved to a secluded spot near the far edge of the garden, where shadows danced under the moonlight. Moments later, a figure emerged from the shadows, a servant who had been loyal to her cause. His face was pale, his expression grim. The Sahib is growing suspicious, he warned, his voice low but steady. He has doubled the guards and ordered us to watch your every move. Zufishan nodded, her eyes scanning the darkened garden for any sign of being overheard. It's only a matter of time before he finds out, she said softly. I have to keep him distracted long enough for Azar to act. The servant hesitated, then produced a small piece of paper. Azar Sahib sent another message, he said, handing it to her. Zufishan unfolded the note with trembling fingers, her breath catching as she read the words. I will come for you soon, but you must be ready to leave at a moment's notice. Her heart ached at the thought of seeing Azar again, of finally breaking free from Alam Shah's suffocating grasp. But she knew the risks. Tell him to be careful, she said, her voice firm despite the emotion threatening to overwhelm her. If Alam Shah catches him, he won't hesitate to kill him. The servant nodded. I will deliver the message, Begum Sahiba. But please be cautious. Meanwhile, in the city, Azar was deep in planning with Zufishan's brother and the local police. The documents Zufishan had risked so much to send were damning, detailing Alam Shah's involvement in land theft, extortion, and even the attempted murder of Azar. Inspector Naim, the officer leading the investigation, reviewed the evidence with a cautious optimism. We have enough to bring Alam Shah in for questioning, he said. But taking him down completely will require careful timing. If he senses a trap, he'll use his connections to evade justice. Azar nodded, his jaw set in determination. I understand, he said, but my priority is Zufishan. I won't leave her in that mansion a moment longer than necessary. Inspector Naim placed a reassuring hand on Azar's shoulder. We'll act soon, he promised. But for now you need to be patient. Back at the mansion, Alam Shah's paranoia had reached a fever pitch. He began interrogating the servants, his once commanding presence now tinged with desperation. Every glance, every movement in the household was scrutinized. One afternoon he cornered Zufishan in the hallway, his eyes burning with suspicion. You've been quiet lately, he said, his tone deceptively calm. Zufishan met his gaze with a neutral expression. I've had little to say, she replied evenly. He stepped closer, his towering figure invading her space. Do you think I don't notice your little games? Do you think I don't know what you're up to? Her heart pounded, but she forced herself to remain calm. I don't know what you're talking about, she said, her voice steady despite the turmoil inside her. Alam Shah smirked, but his eyes betrayed his fury. You can play innocent all you want, Zufishan. But mark my words, I will uncover the truth. Late that night, Zufishan sat in her room, staring at a small bag she had packed with essentials and hidden beneath her bed. Another note from Azar lay unfolded on her desk, its words filling her with both hope and fear. Be ready. I'm coming for you tomorrow night. She clasped her hands together, whispering a silent prayer for strength. The thought of finally escaping Alam Shah's clutches filled her with anticipation, but the stakes had never been higher. One misstep could cost them everything. As the hours ticked by, she prepared herself for the battle ahead. Tomorrow, she would no longer be a prisoner. Tomorrow, she would fight for her freedom, and for the man she loved.